Thokozani Makosini. Today is Sunday here in South Africa. I'm recording this at 3 minutes to 8 p.m. Few days and 2 days before the Aries Full Moon. We're going to have an Aries Full Moon on the 7th of October, which is Tuesday here for us, a Mars Day. Perfect, really. Great alignment. Have you been feeling this weekend? Have you been feeling headaches, migraines, high blood pressure, palpitations, inflammation of any kind? Like, is your acne flaring up? Do you have a fever? Is your eczema flaring up? Any sort of thing that has to do with inflammation? Have you been cutting or burning yourself, or having like big or small accidents, tripping and falling, banging your head, stubbing your toe? All of these are symptoms of not really carrying the energy well, of struggling with the life area that Aries sits in your chart. So, for example, if you have Aries in the 7th and you're maybe having some relationship issues at the moment, okay, or you're having trouble relating to others, because it doesn't always have to be a fight, right? So let's get into it. What could be causing these types of migraines and headaches? So I want us to unpack Aries energy, and hopefully by the end of it, you have a clearer picture of what this full moon has to say to you. First of all, full moons illuminate things. So full moons will always be bringing something to our attention, whether it was something that was deliberately hidden by us or others, or something that was simply unknown. It comes to the forefront. And then we've got the full moon being in Aries. So what are we exposing in Aries? And Aries is the sign of the warrior. Okay, now let's unpack the warrior archetype, right? The warrior defends things. It fights for things. It initiates. It defends. Aries energy is about, even if you get infiltrated today, you don't just surrender and say, oh my God, okay, take what you need. Just don't hurt me. Please go. It'll fight to the death to defend what it deems is valuable and is in need of protection. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just about to come into this palace and destabilize like we don't have guards, like we don't have protection. Even if they see that they are outnumbered, most of the time the soldiers will fight to the death. And that's Aries energy. It is, I will defend this with my last breath energy. It's on the same axis as Libra. So it has themes of justice. It shares themes of justice with its sister sign Libra. Okay, so Aries will fight, it will defend. And should it fall down, should it get conquered, it'll get up again. It will rise again. The warrior always gets up again. So the song I have today is Cardi B's Get Up 10. I'm down today, but I won't be down forever. And so this is what the full moon has reminded me of today, that, okay, we've been through a lot with these eclipses in Pisces and Virgo. It has been, yikes, what a roller coaster. Hey? So I welcome the energy of the Aries full moon, because with Pisces, it's like we don't really know what's going on. Changes are happening, but we can't really see through the fog. It hasn't really given us an opportunity to really act on things, because during both of the eclipses in September, Mars was in Libra. Mars in Libra is indecisive. It's compromising. Won't act unless everyone is happy, and yeah, it doesn't know what to do. Now with Aries, with the full moon in Aries ruled by Mars in Scorpio, it's like, yes, I know exactly what to do, and now I have the will to do it. I have the courage to do it. I also love the fact that this full moon coming after the eclipses is really our first opportunity to get back into our spiritual rituals. For example, this would be a great moon to call upon your warrior ancestors, those you need to defend you, those you need to fight with you, protect you. So those protection rituals, calling upon those who need to help you take down some enemies. This is the energy for that. And so you don't always have to ask them to go fight. You can ask them for some courage, ask them for some strength, wear their emblems, their totems, in order
Now,
to
with all
grant
of the
yourself or borrow
destabilization,
the strength and the
it's
courage
like,
from
okay,
them in order to do what you know you
next
have
step.
to do.
And with Aries energy, we don't always get to choose to do, we're just forced to do. But the shadow side of Aries energy is always being impulsive. And the impulsivity is usually born out of fear, especially fear of a loss of control. So with this full moon in Aries, I would really like to encourage all of us to face our fears, especially if you're feeling jittery. The shadow side of Aries is like wanting to act right now, feeling like if you don't act, it all falls apart. There's this great urgency to do something, even if you haven't calculated the risk, you don't have all the facts together, just wants to go, especially if it means you will be number one, because it just wants to win. But that is not the right way to go about this energy right now. That is a surefire way to fail. If you're feeling this burning desire to act, to do something, that's ego. That's your ego trying to make you act from your pain, from your fear. It's telling you do it now or else. And so we're going to be confronted by our fears so that we can remember that bravery is born out of acting despite the fear. Bravery is not waiting for the fear to pass. It's doing it scared. Bravery is getting up the 50th time, even if everybody watched you fall. Bravery is going ahead, not knowing what's awaiting you on the other side. But it's not impulsive. It calculates its risk. It calculates every single move. It's strategic. It knows which risk is worth taking and which one is not. It's intentional. Mars is emotionally charged. It's motivated by passion. But the shadow side of Scorpio energy is what? Control and power gains. So that's not what you want to do. Holding on tightly to control isn't going to get you what you're trying to get right now. In Scorpio, Mars is trine Saturn by sign. Where do you have the control? Where do you have the power to act? And where do you need to seize control? Where do you need to let go and trust? And just take the leap. Take the next step. Jupiter is also in a water sign. So there's another trine by sign from Jupiter to Mars and to Saturn, showing that action is supported, showing a little bit of cushion for what it is that we want to do now. There's some optimism. There's a bit more expansion in our drive, in our will, in our wanting to do. We have a little bit more energy now for our goals. But it's got to have some structure. We have to be very clear on what we are doing, why we are doing it, and how. Otherwise, the energy, the fire, will swallow us whole. If the fire is not controlled, if it is not tamed, it burns us from the inside, causing us to be impatient, causing us to push too hard, leading to burnout, causing us to lash out at others. So watch for that impatience. Watch for these outbursts. What are they really trying to tell you about the little you? Remember, Aries is the beginning. That's where we form our identity. So it has a lot to do with our inner child and how we defend their innocence. Anger usually shows us that we feel dishonored and betrayed, and we want to defend ourselves. So investigate it, investigate the anger, investigate the fear. There's so much to be found under there. So I like this Aries full moon. I want to use it to restart my 7-week chakra challenge. So that's a chakra a week. We focus on each chakra. And why? Because Aries, again, is the first sign of the zodiac, the beginning. And it's associated with that root chakra. I want to use this as a big reset. And what better way than to start with the root chakra? A lot of the themes that I touched on of fear and courage are associated with the root chakra. So Aries energy, it fights and it survives like the warrior, right? And so that's a lot to do with our root chakra. Full moon in Aries can activate our fight or flight. And the root chakra, when it is out of balance, it causes us to act from the sensation of fight or flight. So we freeze, we run, we fight. So in order to be able to handle this energy well, I do believe that centering, clearing out your root chakra is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So I'm going to discuss the chakra challenge more in a different video. So let's talk about stuff that you can do for this Aries full moon. And then we will look at the horoscopes for each of the zodiac signs. Obviously, go to the gym, be active, take a dance class, Aries also has to do with cooking, the chopping, the high temperatures, all of that is Martian. I'm highly recommending getting into your recipe bag to help deal with the restlessness that comes with Aries. If you can't get yourself to a gym or to a class or whatever, this is a great thing to do. Even if you can, it's still a great way to channel that Martian energy. Another one is to do something you haven't done before. Challenge yourself. Do something that will require some effort. The other way to channel it, of course, is to start taking steps towards the things that you said you were going to do, towards your goals. Work on that. Do something tangible, something that you can look at and say, hey, look, this is what I did for my goals today. Okay. I also think this is a great moon to sort of hash things out. You are able to quickly get to the bottom of things and solve it, right? So I do think it's a good time to maybe address some things that you've been wanting to talk about, whether or not they might produce conflict, but just talking about some things that maybe have come to light, some things that were hidden that you haven't really had a chance to address. This is a good one for that. Aries rising. So Saturn's been in your first house, showing you that some responsibility, some accountability, some structure is needed from you for the next 2 to 3 years, starting 2026. You need to build a better foundation, a stronger foundation in your brand, in your identity, in how you are approaching life. You've been reflecting, you've been introspecting, you've uncovered your fears, you've uncovered your cycle of self-doubt. So now you're ready to move, you're ready to act, you're ready to wear the suit of courage and charge forth. So I'm happy for you, Aries. Let's go. But you need to realize that the period when Saturn was in Aries earlier this year is just a glimpse. And so if you don't get it together now, you're going to struggle. If you don't have the discipline, if you refuse to take accountability and own up to your shit, when Saturn comes back into Aries, you're going to have a really tough time. And that reality check is going to come and show you your limits and show you the burden of responsibility that lies on your shoulders, whether you like it or not. Usually external forces that force you to act. Right? So responsibility is coming your way. Take the steps now to embody a more accountable, more responsible, more disciplined version of you. Taurus rising. Okay. This full moon's in your 12th house. Rest, rest, rest. Because your subconscious is going to be busy. You're going to be busy in the spiritual realm, working through your subconscious blocks, working through your hidden fears, so that you can see what has been holding you back, what's been slowing you down. So rest, and then release that tension through stretching, movement. Okay, there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes. You're going through like a quiet rebirth. Pay attention to your dreams, of course, as usual, but especially more so now because there's a lot going on in that other realm. Okay. Hidden health issues may come up at this point as well. Unconscious motivations and hidden enemies. Some people or things that have been working against you and not for you. Recognize and then act accordingly. Nah. Gemini rising. So your friendships and communities are under the spotlight, asking you to take a look. Who's around? What do they embody? Do they embody courage? Do they support your bravery, your courage, or do they just drain it? This is the time to end or cut off any dynamics that try to suppress your spark. You need to align with those who inspire your authenticity more. Saturn coming back here, it's already started showing you whether what you have is solid or not. Will it withstand the tests of Saturn? Will this network survive? Is it solid enough to support you and your spark? If you don't make these decisions now, trust and believe they will come back when Saturn comes back to Aries. You've recently realized some things. Okay, it's time to act on them. And that means you've already seen if there are green or red flags with your network, with your groups, things really moving. Are you being delusional? What's the end goal? Do these people really align? Okay. Do they mirror your courage or drain it? Right? Cancer rising. So your public life, your career direction are activated by this full moon. So you're being pushed into the spotlight. You're being pushed into leadership roles. You're being pushed in front of authority figures, even if it terrifies you. And I mean, that's the whole point of bravery, right? Doing it scared. Okay. But you have to remember to stay true to your integrity, not perform for the stage that you find yourself on. Okay, grounded confidence. You got this. You must trust your instincts. But this is a good time to take some steps towards your career, to make some influential moves. Some of them will be unconscious. You're already inspiring people without seeing what it is that you're doing. So it's important that, all your actions are coming from a good place, because in the 10th house, the public will see it eventually, if not immediately, eventually, and you will be judged on it. That's that 10th house for you. Your public, it's all public, and whatever is public is up for judgment. With Saturn coming in to that 10th house, it's going to be, if you are in a position of power, asking you, okay, well, how did you use your power? How did you use your influence? Cancer. Okay. For some, this is gaining more authority. And so you taking the steps now coming to Saturn in Aries could really be beneficial for the long term, helping anchor what it is you start now. Because again, you've realized some things about the path that you want to take, about your reputation, how you want to be seen, how you want to be remembered, the story you want to be told about you. It's time to start taking the steps towards what you want. Leo, so your beliefs are changing. New beliefs are forming as a result of the recent disillusionment you've experienced about the world, right? So the full moon is expanding your mind. Release the need to control what you don't understand. Okay? Travel, opportunities to travel, teach, or study right now. They may awaken a deeper purpose, one that reignites your faith in your path. You may have been thinking about doing something that has to do with your education or a trip you want to take, or maybe there's some steps in your faith or in the church, in your religious system that you've been wanting to take. This is your sign to take them. Go ahead, go forth. Okay, so Virgo rising, wow. Something financial comes to an end, giving birth to a new beginning. Change is coming for sure. So power dynamics, intimacy, trust issues all come to the surface. Issues with vulnerability, shame, the things we don't like to talk about are illuminated by this full moon. Okay, there's a power imbalance in your relationship. This full moon will likely poke at it. It's good to illuminate it because you can use this full moon energy to stop, put an end to giving your life away to fear. An inability to trust, to let people in. It just blocks you from being able to form deep connections with people. And that is like sort of like giving away your life, giving away your energy, giving away your power, just because you're scared that it might not work out or that the vulnerability will end up biting you in the ass. Okay. There are some important steps that need to be taken for your long-term financial stability that, if they are not taken, will make the next 2 to 3 years quite challenging. So pay attention to also the external things that happen, especially regarding government regulations or other shared resources and information that's going to come to light as a result of the resources that you share with a partner or your partnerships with others. Okay. Libra, your relationships will reflect your courage back to you. Do you move toward connection or away from conflict? This full moon is going to challenge you to act out of honesty, to be truthful about what you feel, what you really want, and act that way instead of acting just to appease other people. Honest conflict over dishonest harmony. Okay, both people need to stand in their power for true harmony to exist. Both people need to stand in their truth. Okay, there's some patterns that you've been exposed to over the past few months that have shown the cracks in how you relate to other people. And so this is your chance to let go of some of those projections, to let go of some of that trauma. Really listen to the feedback you've been receiving regarding how you relate to people and implement because the next 2 to 3 years will be about showing that you are now mature. You can be mature in your relationships and how you deal with them. They're going through a fundamental change. As you evolve into a new being, it means you are starting to also relate to people in a new and different way. So the most important thing is to open yourself up to that. And the patterns that get exposed for you to let go of, own it. And then choose to put in the effort towards creating the relationships you want. Libra, Saturn in Aries is asking you to commit to the vision that you have for your relationships. If the current relationships are not sustainable, maybe it's time to cut your losses and move on. If this relationship is something that you want to keep it, then work on it.
Scorpio
Provide
rising.
it a
So
solid
we're
foundation, a
focusing on
solid
your
structure
in
for
daily
it to
life,
survive.
your
And how
health,
do
your
you do that? You
routines.
do that through
So
honest
you're
communication
going to
and then put
obviously
in the
be
effort.
filled with an intense desire to want to change things around, change your habits, change your lifestyle, change your routine. But it has to be sustainable. Okay. It's not about how intense or how hard you go. It's about being consistent. Start small and then grow your momentum. Okay. You've already seen a glimpse of the health challenges that are coming your way in the next 2 to 3 years. So now's a great time to start putting in those plans that you've been thinking about for your health. Okay. Start now and you will thank yourself when Saturn comes back in this house. Because one thing about Saturn in the sixth is that your actions, when it comes to how you're taking care of yourself, they will come back to either hug you or bite you in the butt. Saturn in the sixth house imposes great challenges for your health. So you want to take care of that. Don't wait until the problem arises or the problem gets bigger. Change it now. Sagittarius rising. So we're back with that creative fire. Your creative fire is reignited under this full moon. Your desire to live, your passion, your joy, it's being re-sparked. And I love that. Play, enjoy yourself, go out, date. Let this be your prayer to the universe, to God. Okay. For some of you, there's an ending, a romantic turning point or ending, or a creative milestone that's coming your way. Okay. This moon is reminding you to be bold with your creations, express your truth, express yourself. This is a good time to make an investment toward your passions, your creative projects, your children, so that when Saturn comes back into that fifth house, you use that as an opportunity to solidify, to grow, to make it long term, long lasting, sustainable. You've seen in the past couple of months what challenges await you when Saturn enters Aries. So, Saturn in your fifth house will be about having to find joy because maybe it's not so easy to find. Having to really build some structure for your creative projects, for your children, having to maybe put some distance between you and a project, or you and a child, or you and a romantic partner. Capricorn rising. This full moon is happening in your fourth house. It's bringing up domestic issues, home, family, emotional safety. Oh, a lot is being illuminated and also brought to a climax. You're seeing how your lineage and how you were raised affects you continually. There's an issue that is coming to a close. All patterns of control or emotional distance are ready to be released. Okay, you're going to notice some things and decide, no, no, no. Okay, maybe softness is what you need more than anything right now. Create some space for some healing conversations. Also, take some steps to create the inner sanctuary that you want, that you need. Have the hard conversation. Take steps toward patching the wound. So you want to build strong inner resources or inner sanctuary so that the emotional challenges, the emotional distance, and the other challenges that are going to come when Saturn comes back into Aries, so they don't completely rock and destabilize you. Usually when Saturn is in the fourth house, I see people moving back home or needing to go back home for an extended period, having to go to a place that is home at least, and reconnecting with the roots. Sometimes it can show a distancing with the family, a loss in the family,
and structural challenges with the building itself. So with Aries, I'd be very cautious with fires and electrical things, explosives, etc. So you've seen in the past few months the likely challenges that will happen when Saturn enters Aries again, which will probably bring challenges in the home life again. So this also brings like added burden or added weight, added duty regarding family, just feeling the responsibility a lot more, or the heavy duty a lot more, the expectations, the standards. Aquarius rising. So your words carry fire. You have to be mindful of how you speak. Okay, because this Aries full moon can make you a bit impulsive, and then you end up saying before you have a chance to think. Okay. Your mind is sharper, your courage is sharper. It's helping you express what's unspoken or what everyone else is tiptoeing around. But don't rush. Try to hold on so that you can communicate from your heart. Okay? You have to honor your own perspective, and then clarity will come. Okay? So learning with communicating or traveling. Okay? A sudden short trip or an opportunity to communicate may come up right now, may come up around the time of this full moon, and it will give you some perspective or aid in helping you understand something. A situation may be coming to a close or climax with your local community, your neighbors, or your siblings. It's very important that you're not impulsive in what you say to them right now, because this is not going to end. Saturn comes back into Aries and will be there for about 2 to 3 years, meaning that what happens now is going to echo for the next 2 to 3 years. You don't want to end up regretting what it is that you said. So take a few deep breaths before you speak, okay? You may also see some gaps in the skills that you need to have or in your own perspective. So seeking extra knowledge is a great idea. A great idea. Last but not least, Pisces rising. The focus is on value and self-worth. Your value, your self-worth. Are you ready to claim what you deserve financially, emotionally, and spiritually? So you will be seeing your fears around scarcity, worth. If you act like you know your worth, then the world around you will adjust. So you will see your subconscious attitudes towards money, towards value. What do you think is valuable and why? And some of those, they need to end. Some of them, you need to let go of them. Especially for when Saturn comes into Aries. And that is going to be challenging money-wise. So you've already seen how these challenges are likely going to play out. It's up to you now to set the right things in motion. You've seen a glimpse. Now use this energy to try and prepare for the upcoming challenges. Okay. Saturn in the second house usually shows needing to tighten your belt. So like your actions being restricted, and then thus not being able to earn a lot because of that. It does give questioning your sense, your beliefs around self-worth, your own sense of self-worth. It also coincides with financial loss, material loss as well. So it would be horrible if you continue to identify with your possessions, because this period might strip you of them, or at least some of them. So it's a good idea to start working on those fears so that when the challenges come, it doesn't rock you too hard. Okay. So wow, Aries energy, Aries full moon. For me, it's already shown me some of the fears that I have regarding surrendering control, and how I always need to know what's going on, to know what's next. And that does help on some level because it allows me to assess the risk and act accordingly. I'll never jump in blind. But at the same time, it's like you don't have to control everything, so it's a delicate balance. And yeah, I hope we all come to this feeling of either way I can do it. Either way I'll get up. I'll try. Even if I fail, at least I tried. I will try again. Hope we all get there. I hope you enjoy this full moon. Amako Makos.